Welcome back, parents. Jordan Langdon here with you for another episode of our show. Listen, I wanted to jump on the mic this morning and talk about family culture. Now, this is a broad topic, right? What does it even mean to have family culture, or what is culture in a family? Guys, it's belonging, right? It's how our kids and how we feel connected to one another. And this is huge. This will make all the difference in the world in your family when it comes to your kids' behavior, when it comes to rebellion, when it comes to discipline, kids fighting with one another, parents feeling like they're a united team. The culture of your family is something you're going to want to put intentional time into. In fact, it's that one thing that nobody ever tells you about, but it's the one thing that will help with absolutely all your other troubles in parenting. And I'm confident of that because of my own story. So I was, feeling like a team of one, doing kind of everything for everyone and really beating my brains out in the process. I felt so burnt out, and I felt like no one was even noticing that I was doing all these things for them. And I kept being upset that my kids weren't pitching in and helping out more, that my husband wasn't leading things in our family. Well, you know what? It turned out that I had kind of benched them all. If you think about a team, think about a football field, right? Well, my team was all suited up and ready to go. We had, this same last name, the same colored jerseys, but when that whistle blew and the ball was snapped, I ran out onto the field, grabbed the ball, and just started heading for the end zone all by myself. I was hustling and bobbing and weaving and kind of trying to, you know, uh, get around all the chaos that was coming at me down the field. And in my desperation, I looked back for my teammates so I could pitch the ball to one of them. And guess what? They weren't there. They were on the bench on the sidelines. And you know how they got there? I benched them. I had actually put them on the bench without even knowing it. All the, I've got this. Oh no, I'm good. I can handle this. Oh no, I'll take care of it. All of those little actions on my part, thinking I was doing the right thing for everyone, actually benched the teammates on my team, including my husband. He would offer to pitch in and help out, and I would just say, "Oh, I've got it. I've got it," leaving him no place to participate in the family. Guys, this is what I'm finding out. This is so common in families. Sometimes dad's the one that is, running the ball down the field by himself, doing everything for everyone. A lot of times it's mom. Okay. And it doesn't even matter who it is. The bottom line is it doesn't work. It divides the culture of the family where people are not feeling like they're part of a team. They don't feel like they can identify with your last name because there is no unity. The only unity might be that you all jump in the car together and go to somebody's football game or gymnastics meet. But as far as people feeling like they belong and they are contributing to the overall well-being and the functioning of the family, that's not happening if one person is kind of taking over everything. So I just want to encourage you to consider the culture of your family. Do people feel like they belong? Do you feel like you're a partner with your spouse? Or are there ways that you could engage your spouse in a different way that would help you participate more or help them kind of jump in with their gifts and talents and participate more as a team? Guys, the number one thing that has helped us with this is the simple weekly family huddle. And we talk about this all the time and are never going to stop talking about this because it is one behavior that you can implement on a weekly basis, just once a week in your home, that will have a lifetime of impact on your family. How do I know this? Well, I know this because we've been doing this for 5 years in my family. And guess what? The kids never let us go without having a weekly family huddle. Why? Because it's so beneficial to them. What do we do in these huddles? It's simple. We get together and pray right at the beginning, just a short prayer. Said, Lord, thank you for the gifts that you have given Team Langdon. Thank you for today. Thank you for the past week. We're so grateful that we have each other and that we have what we need to sustain our daily lives. Like, it's simple. And then we go right into looking at our calendar for the week. Why do we do that? Because if people don't know what's going on and they're dependent on another person in the family, like mom or dad or the oldest sibling, to tell them what they're doing next or what's coming tomorrow or what's in 3 days, they don't feel like a part of the team. They feel like they're on the sidelines and someone's running over with a water bottle every once in a while and giving them a squirt of water to kind of rehydrate them. Okay. But they do not feel like they are an active part of your team or they're pitching in and helping out. And guess what? Little kids love to be part of this. They love to see you put your calendar up on the TV screen or display it on the kitchen counter or on the whiteboard on the wall, and to show them and to take the time to talk through what's happening on a day-to-day basis so that they can see and hear and start processing that information. They can ask questions and then start preparing and becoming more responsible for their activities in the week. This is huge. This is a game changer, people. And I would not waste my time or yours talking about this on a regular basis if it didn't have roots, if it didn't really, truly make a huge difference in the culture of your family. But think about what happens when you don't review the calendar on a weekly basis. You don't ever talk about what it is that you could work on as a family, just one small goal together as a family over the course of a week. What happens is this division, right? Everybody sees themselves as having their own mission and their own goal. And usually it's something where they're focused on serving themselves. Kids are thinking, how can I get more video game time? How can I get more screen time? How is it that I could get my parents to set up more play dates, right? We're constantly thinking about how we can serve ourselves. So with a weekly family huddle where you're getting together, let's say on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday evening, and simply going over the calendar so everyone knows what's going on. And then you're saying, okay, guys, what do you think we ought to work on over the next week? Like, let's just pick one small habit that we would like to change or improve upon over the next week. Again, do you see the teamwork at play here? You are inviting them to pitch in on the idea and identify maybe an area of weakness in your family. I will tell you, kids are so good at identifying a weakness in the family. They notice these things before we even do, right? And so they may say, guys, we have got to work on getting out the door on time. That seems like where we are yelling at each other or we're pressured and everybody gets snippy with each other. And then our whole day kind of goes downhill from there. So maybe we could work on getting out the door earlier every morning. This is huge. This would be a great goal to work on for a week. And then at your next family huddle, guess what? You can keep that going for another week. You could keep it going for 3 weeks. You can make a 30-day challenge of getting out the door at a specific time so that no one is late and no one is rushed. Guys, this is what builds the character of your kids and yourself. And this is what brings you together with this bonded family culture. You see, when kids are allowed to speak up and share what they think is going on in the family, it creates a foundation of safety, right? That encourages their siblings to speak up. And it doesn't take away your power as a parent for your kids to say, you know what? I've really noticed that we're all struggling with this. As a matter of fact, it helps them to respect you more because they feel seen and heard by you. And isn't it true that in a relationship with our spouse or a boss or a coworker, when we have skin in the game, when we feel like our opinion matters and people are listening, actively listening to us, and they take our ideas into account, don't we have far more respect for those people? And actually, we want to perform at a higher level for them. It motivates us to be better and to do better. Parents, the culture of your family is being formed every day, whether you're intentional about it or not. And wouldn't it be nice to look back in 10 years and say, hey, we put some intention behind forming the culture and the belonging and just the identity of our family? And man, it paid off because look how close we are. Look at how our kids want to stay around home, even more than hang out with their peers because they are bonded to us. And you might say, Jordan, why is that important? Kids need to have friends. They do need to have friends, and they will have friends. And they can nurture those friendships. And at the same time, you want to be the hub of guidance, moral support, and information for your kids when they're teenagers and young adults. The idea of thinking that we're kind of done with them when they're 16 and start driving themselves around or whatever, or they've got phones and now they're on their own and our job is done, that's not good. I'm going to tell you right now, as a mother of 3 and as a licensed clinical social worker, a therapist for 20 years, you're always going to be their parent. If you create a culture of safety and belonging and fun, that you're working towards something on a weekly basis all together, you are going to be the hub that they come back to for support, for guidance in the really difficult decisions: drugs, alcohol, dating. Should I marry this person? What about starting up this business? Is this a crazy idea? Do I have your support? Things like that. I'm telling you that if you start a weekly family huddle this week, and all you do is you keep that one habit going every week, month after month, year after year, you keep showing up for your family at the same time and the same day every week, just because they're awesome, just because you want them to be and understand how to play like a team when they get out of your house and form a family of their own. If you do that, your life is going to be so much better. And I think this is like not taken seriously, right? People are thinking like, so I get together on a Sunday and, bring my kids and my spouse together, and we just look at the calendar and we talk about what's going on, and then we talk about one thing that we'd like to work on over the next week. Like we probably, won't even remember what we're working on for the week. So then the next week, maybe we won't even have our family huddle because there won't be much consistency on the days in between the Sundays, right? The Sunday family meetups. Okay, if you think that that's going to be a problem for you, write down the goal, slap it on a piece of paper and stick it up on the fridge, or have your kids make a poster that says we're going to get up and get out of the house on time. Put your goal top of mind. It's going to require that you commit to doing it, but it is simple. It's simple and it can be so much fun. I'm telling you, I was just telling my husband this morning, I said, you know what? I said, with our family huddle, getting the kids involved has been probably the most beneficial thing that we could have ever done. Our kids made up a little cheer that we do at the end of our family huddle. This is what it is. We put our hands in a pile, right? And we go 1, 2, 3. Team Langdon. That's it. It's a really simple cheer. But guess what? It doesn't matter what we've talked about in our family huddle, whether it's been tough, whether it's been awesome, whether it's been challenging to figure out who's going where and how we can help each other with the happenings of the week. When it comes to wrapping it up, that's the end of our huddle, is to pile our hands on top of each other and say our name out loud with some enthusiasm. Just that one simple thing, saying Team Langdon, right? Or Team Gillis or Team Markle, whatever your name is, that is part of forming the family culture. That helps remind them with 2 words that they belong. That they belong. There's a place for them. Again, I want you to consider the lasting benefits of feeling like you belong. Really take a few minutes and just contemplate this. Did you feel like you belonged in your family? Maybe you felt like you were a burden, or you felt like there was such division between your parents and you because they were the adults and you were the children, and they made a clear line that we don't do things together. Like, you work on making your bed and you work on keeping your stuff straight, but like there is different expectations for parents. Think about a team that you've belonged to where you're like, man, I miss those people. You know, I used to work at the Federal Women's Prison in Carswell, in Fort Worth, Texas. And I have such great memories of the team that I worked with down there. Melanie and Matt and Jim and Julia. Like, it is a tight knit group of people where we all, pitched in and circled up every week and honored each other's ideas and respected each other. And man, everywhere I went, I was looking for that same kind of connection, that healthy connection where we could all pitch in and respect each other and honor each other's differences, but also work together as a collective team to help people. If you didn't have that in your family growing up, you can do your family different. It's possible. And I'm giving you the formula by saying all you got to do is show up at a consistent time once a week and say, guys, we're going to do this family huddle. This is new. This is different, but this is awesome. We're all going to know what's going on our calendar over the next week. And you know what? We're going to take turns identifying something that we can work on or challenge ourselves to do over the next week. And then every week we're going to circle back and like celebrate our wins and look at the calendar for the next week, right? We're always going to be prepared for what's coming up. Guys, that strengthens executive functioning skills in you and your kids to look at a week ahead, figure out what's happening, and be able to plan according to that. This is, again, huge win, huge life skill they need to be successful out in the world, is to be able to look at a calendar, understand what's going on and how they're going to fit in everything they need to fit in, and prioritize the things that are most important, and then feel like they can pitch in and help out with other people when it comes to activities and events over the week. And celebrate, right? Have a treat at the end of your family huddle. Say, way to go. We're all on the same page. No one's a team of one here. Everybody's got their jerseys on. We're all pitching in and helping out. This is awesome. You know, there's a couple that has been through our couples coaching series, and They love to do a family huddle kind of in combination with what they call the power hour. And so they'll review the calendar, get some donuts for their kids, and they have little kids and they still include them in everything. And then they'll say, okay, let's, split off and do a little cleaning around the house. This is our power hour. They crank the music up and then they go to the different corners of their house with their assignments and they work on cleaning up an area. And sometimes mom and one of the kids works on something together and dad and one of the boys go out in the yard and they do a yard project together. So they're helping out, pitching in. They set a time limit, right? So everybody knows this is over, but also they make it fun by including a little snack, some music that kind of gets the beat going and it gets things, uplifted a little bit. And then they do something that's hard. They clean the house together. What a beautiful thing. We're going to have to do this in our lives later on, right? As parents, we're going to have to help our aging parents. When they get old and they need our help, right? We're going to pitch in and help them out. I hope so. And for our kids, they're going to be parents someday. They're going to have houses that need cleaned and offices that they work at and businesses to run where they're managing lots and lots of activities on the calendar and projects. Wouldn't it be cool to create that culture in your family that prepares them for that life that's right outside the nest? Guys, I want to encourage you today to just commit. Don't wait until you hear this message 3 or 4 or 5 more times on my podcast or on our website or in an email that we send you. Don't wait. You don't have to complicate this weekly family huddle. You just have to have one. And so what if you clunk through the first one? And so what if you clunk through the second one? And so what if you go, oops, we missed one? Okay, have one the next day. Your kids will thank you later on when they're adults. This is going to be so worth it. Being intentional about creating the culture of your family is something you're not going to want to pass on. Parents, we only get one chance at this parenting thing. We only get one chance to really make that culture count in our homes. Unfortunately, 10 years from now, we can't go back and redo it. There's always making amends and talking to your kids about how you wish you would have known something earlier or done something different. But now you know. Now you know that something as simple as a 30-minute meeting with your kids and your spouse could change the trajectory of your lives and bond you together more than anything. I think you can do this. I know you can do this. And one of the things I always say, because it's true, is that I am always in your corner. No matter what your struggles, no matter how broken you feel you are, no matter how bad things have gotten in your marriage, right? You've asked your spouse to leave. They've come back, right? You've done some really, horrible things, maybe made some really bad decisions. Guess what? We all do these things. If you can come together as a unified family once a week and get your team rallied around one common goal, you will be blown away at the joy in your home, the connectedness in your marriage, and the amount of happiness and success that you see in your family. It's simple. Review the calendar, identify a common goal, and don't argue over it. Whatever it is, just do it. Just do something for 1 week. Every day you're working at something else. And then come back together the following week. Could you put that on your calendar right now? Could you open up your phone and look at your calendar or get your paper calendar out and write down family huddle? Schedule in family huddle on your calendar. Could you do that right now? I'm going to challenge you to that. Parents, I could give you a prescription, a litany of things that you could do to implement your family to make an impact on your marriage and your kids. You don't need it. Do this. Do this one thing once a week. And then let me know how it goes for you. I want to hear in week 2. I want to hear from you on week 5. I want to hear from you when you've been at this for 3 years and it's like clockwork and your kids don't let you go a week without it because it's so beneficial to them and they love the joy and the unity. I want to hear from you every step of the way. Parents, the culture of your family is being built, whether you're intentional or not. Have a positive influence over your family and do it with this one simple rhythm. You've got this, parents. I'm going to catch you real soon on another episode of the Families of Character show. Take care.